Historic royal arrival. Queen Margrethe welcomes Princess Leonor to Denmark. The red carpets of Copenhagen have been rolled out countless times, but this time, something feels different. The Danish capital, known for its calm elegance and centuries of royal tradition, suddenly trembled with anticipation. And yet, who could have imagined? Queen Margrethe II herself, the matriarch of Denmark, standing at the threshold of Amalienborg Palace, not just to honor her own bloodline, but to welcome a young royal from Spain. A gesture so symbolic, so charged with history, it stunned even those who thought they had seen it all. But why would this meeting matter so deeply? Why would the arrival of Princess Leonor echo far beyond the gates of Denmark, sending ripples across Europe's royal landscape? To understand, we must step into a story where tradition collides with destiny, and where one young woman's journey may forever reshape the bonds between two monarchies. Princess Leonor's arrival in Denmark was not a mere diplomatic visit. It was a carefully orchestrated event layered with symbolism. For Spain, it represented the confidence of a nation placing its trust in the hands of a young future queen. For Denmark, it was the continuation of a dynasty that thrives not only on its own strength but on its ability to form unbreakable ties across Europe. The crowd that lined the cobblestone streets did not cheer as they usually do for ceremonial processions. This time, their cheers carried an air of astonishment. Spanish flags waved alongside Danish ones, a tapestry of red, yellow, and white merging with red and white, a rare sight that spoke volumes about unity. Yet within the pomp, there was an intimacy. Queen Margrethe, regal yet warm, stretched out her hand not as a monarch greeting another dignitary, but almost as a grandmother welcoming a granddaughter into her home. But why this warmth? Why this extraordinary gesture from a queen known for her measured and often reserved demeanor? The answer lies in the centuries of history binding Spain and Denmark together. Through marriages, treaties, and shared struggles, the destinies of these two nations have often intersected. And now, in 2025, those threads seem to converge on the shoulders of one young princess. Leonor herself stood radiant, not in ostentatious jewels, but in an ensemble that blended Spanish elegance with Scandinavian simplicity. Every detail, from the cut of her gown to the way her hair was styled, whispered of a careful balance, respect for her roots, but openness to the world she was stepping into. Observers noticed how she leaned slightly forward when speaking with Queen Margrethe, a subtle sign of humility that contrasted with the firmness in her eyes that betrayed her readiness for the role she has been preparing for since birth. The symbolism deepened when the two royals stepped into the Grand Hall of Amalienborg. Side by side, Leonor and Margrethe walked past portraits of monarchs whose decisions had shaped Europe. The juxtaposition was striking. A seasoned queen at the twilight of her reign, and a princess just stepping into the dawn of hers. It was as though history itself was staging a handover, not of crowns, but of wisdom and responsibility. Yet, behind the glittering images that the cameras captured, there were questions. What private words did Queen Margrethe whisper to Leonor? Were they words of caution, reminders of duty, or perhaps encouragement, shaped by her own half-century of experience on the throne? These questions remain unanswered, but the bond that was visibly formed spoke louder than any public address. As the evening unfolded, the event evolved from mere formality into something personal. The state banquet was lavish, yet subtle in its message. The Danish royal family sat alongside Leonor, treating her not as a foreign guest, but as part of their own. Even Prince Christian's presence added to the undercurrent of speculation. The glances exchanged, the smiles shared, were they purely ceremonial, or did they hint at a bond that might extend beyond protocol? And so the curiosity loops began to spin. Could this be more than a diplomatic visit? Was Denmark preparing not just to welcome a foreign princess but perhaps to witness the early stages of a future alliance sealed by love? History has shown us that marriages among royals have always been political tools, but in today's world, they are also deeply personal choices. Could Leonor's arrival in Denmark have been about more than statecraft? Could it be the beginning of a chapter that unites two royal houses in a way the modern world no longer expects, yet secretly craves? As we dig deeper, we uncover not just the story of a visit, but the tale of a transformation. Leonor, once viewed as the shy heir, has emerged into the spotlight with confidence, grace, and undeniable presence. Her arrival in Denmark was more than historic, it was a declaration that she is ready to step into her role as Europe's youngest future queen, not timidly, but boldly. And what does this mean for Spain? For Denmark? For the entire fabric of European monarchy? It means that the torch of tradition is being passed not quietly, but with a blaze that illuminates new possibilities. The union of symbols, the merging of families, the whispers of destiny, all converge on this moment. The historic royal arrival of Princess Leonor in Denmark will be remembered not just as a ceremonial act but as the day Europe glimpsed its future. A future where queens are not merely figureheads, but bridges, between nations, between generations, and between tradition and change. This is not the end of the story. It is only the beginning. For every answer Leonor's visit gave us, it raised another question. What role will Denmark play in her destiny? What lessons will she carry from Queen Margrethe back to Spain? And how will these two monarchies, bound by history and perhaps by something even deeper, shape the future of Europe together? The world is watching, and history is still being written.